Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Namaste experience. Welcome back to me because I've been away for so long, it feels, off gallivanting around the world, especially here in beautiful Assisi. Our 7-day retreat just finished about an hour or so ago, and boy, was it deep. I have to say, I don't know if I have ever been so intense in a retreat before, especially one in Assisi. Usually people come here to Assisi to be inspired by Francis and Clare and by going to all the beautiful places like San Damiano or the Basilica of Santa Francesco, the Basilica of Santa Chiara. And it's true, these places are deeply inspiring. But we flipped things a little bit by looking more deeply at what I believe to be the real story, the real heart of the gift that Francis and Clare can give to us. You see, often what happens is an institution, any institution really, like the church or any other religion, one of the major focuses is always to maintain itself and to grow and to become more powerful. And one of the ways that the church certainly does that is by lifting people like Francis and Clare into a state or a place of sanctity by making them saints so that they're so high up on a pedestal that it's difficult, if not impossible, for us to relate to them as brothers and sisters. I've often said that I know myself and I know Vicki and I know many others to be so powerful because we're your brother. I'm your brother. She's your sister. And we're siblings in this, not one above the other. And I believe that when we can treat one another like this, the real lesson can be learned. And one of the things that we did at the beginning of this retreat was we made up our retreat names. Everyone went deep within and came up with a name that represented who they were allowing themselves to become through this experience. And I chose something that I actually shared with all of you probably a couple of weeks ago, that I was feeling myself stepping more and more into the experience of brother Nessuno, brother no one. Nessuno means no one in Italian. And for me, this is the release of the identity of James, James Twyman, whatever it is that I think that I am, that which I've claimed to be through the decades, the books, and whatever it may be, to let go of all of that and to step more firmly into that which is known by God, the I am within me. And that was symbolized by Brother Nessuno. And everyone chose a name that represented who they were becoming. And we had deep conversations, not the types of things that you would usually share as a tourist coming to a place like Assisi, but certainly as a pilgrim. We recognize from the very beginning that we are pilgrims here in Assisi, not tourists. So we talked about things like poverty and what Francis called lady poverty. He was so dedicated to simplicity and poverty that it's not something that we can easily relate to now. Suffering, how Francis and Clare used the suffering that they went through to lift them higher into God. And one of the other things that we talked about that I wanted to share here today is what I call divine desperation. Usually we think of desperation as something negative, something to avoid. But what if desperation or longing is the fuel that lifts us above this world into a softer reality where the truth of who I am dwells? So desperation, what does that mean to me? It means that there's only one thing that I want, and I'm desperate to feel and to know that. I've been walking through the streets of Assisi these last few days, fanning the flames of that desperation. Just like you would take a bellows and blow oxygen onto a dying ember. I have been blowing oxygen or grace onto the flame that's within me, which is the same as the flame within each one of you, and feeling this desperation that there's only one thing that I desire. There's only one thing that I want in my life. Call that love, call that God, call that whatever you want to call it. Because it doesn't matter what we call it as long as we feel it. So once again, we can come to a place like Assisi as a tourist, and we can go visit all the different places. We can go into all the little shops and buy little plastic statues of Francis. You know, I have this over here on my table, so I won't go grab it, but I'll just tell you that right before our last session, I went and bought something that I felt kind of represented the way that the institution tries to cap the energy of someone like Francis of Assisi. And that's by selling even little shot glasses with pictures of the saint. Shot glasses to take, well, you know, maybe I'll bring it back and take a shot of tequila with it when I get back to Mexico. But it represented something that for me was not aligned at all with the desperation that I feel to know only love. I've been chanting our prayer this entire week. Only love, only God, only now. And the more I feel this desperation, the more elevated my experience becomes, the more I feel lifted into an experience of grace that is wholly unlike this world. And that's the thing about Francis and Claire and so many others, is they would take what would seem negative and they would flip it. They would take their experience of giving everything away, poverty, and they would flip it into grace or suffering into the highest expression of harmony. That's what this experience here in Assisi has been with me. It has been a divine flip into an experience that I know, but I long to be fully and completely consistent in. And I know it's the same within you. I'm no different than any of you. We've all had and know this experience, but can we choose to be perfectly consistent in it? That's the reason we do have this session every morning, is so that we can come together and be lifted by the uncompromising nature of truth. Remember, the more uncompromising we are with the truth, the quicker we realize how uncompromising the truth is with us. That you are perfect and whole as God created you. There's nothing that you need to do, think, or say to achieve anything that is real. Everything that is real and whole has already been achieved in you. And my desperation to know that, to feel that, to express that is what is lifting me into the experience of exactly that. And I know that each one of you is feeling the same. So don't shy away from things like desperation. We also talked about divine indifference. It's another one of those great flips. I'm completely indifferent to anything in this world, the high, the low, the criticism, anything that anyone says or anything that I feel myself. We come to the point where we're divinely indifferent to it all because there's only one thing that we want. There's only one longing that we feel, and that is the longing for love. So I thought I would share these little bits to help bring you into the experience that we've shared here in this beautiful retreat. We're going to be having more of these, and I hope that many of you can join us either in Ajijic or here in Assisi. And now I'll turn it over to our dear sister, Vicki, who has been here to Assisi many times, so she knows exactly what I'm saying. So, Vicki, talk to us about the desperation that you feel, only for love, only for God, only for now.
Thank you, Brother James, and welcome back. It's so nice to have you here and hear your voice and share this experience. And to me, it's very, very Desperation. We're both on location. I will show you, on location here in St. John, and you're in Assisi. And these, maybe for each of us, our deepest spiritual places for me in my life, where the space inside of me was clear enough to see and to hear the voice of love right within me, right where I am. And that often happens in holy places, wherever we go, because we go with that, what you are calling as pilgrims, an intention to open up to the sacred. And the truth is, we have come to a place in our lives where we realize our life is a pilgrimage. That is partly why we meet every morning. Our lives have become so intentional, so 24/7, holding this constant contact, that these spiritual centers light us up and shine a light into what perhaps is still a desire standing in the way. And with that comes that moment of the willingness to let whatever it is go. Surrender is our greatest gift, because it opens the flow again to what perhaps we had stayed still around. When we're in the natural flow, when our heart is like a river flowing like the ocean flowing, we can trust the impulses of spirit that come to us, to come, to go, to sit, to stand, to talk, to join, because they're coming from that limitless place within ourselves. And if our lives are a pilgrimage to live only in the sacred, to live in that space of love that guides us effortlessly through grace, not with any idea of I am the doer, I am doing this, I am getting this, all of that falls away. It's not the language of spirit. The language of spirit is a language of being given everything and give everything. It's a language of flow and acceptance. It's a language of love. But still, as pilgrims on this sacred journey for our life, we're like monks. And the world is our abbey. The world, wherever we find ourselves, is our sanctuary. To be willing to look at whatever it is. And that's why I love our motto too: only love, only God, only now. Surrender doesn't happen yesterday or tomorrow. It happens right now. And every surrender, it's a word the ego gives negativity to, but every surrender is a welcome home party. It's time to come home. Every surrender will bring to light some other interest, some other self-interest that we've held dear to us. And we've held portions of specialness and littleness dear until we get into that spaciousness and the openness of love, however it opens us in us or triggers us. And we realize there's no little corner we want to corner off anymore. Our desire is to stay that flowing river, that flowing ocean, stay in that experience. And welcome, if there's a place that comes up, welcome it, so that we can stand still in there and let it get absorbed and dissolved by being present to it, by bringing present awareness, present love, present acceptance into every moment, especially the moments where there seems to be a gift of desperation at hand. So it's been an experience of that with me here in many ways. I don't want to take much time and say them today. I do want to say happy birthday to my dear sister Lisa. Whoops, Lisa's right there. And I want to show you, this is a gift we made because it's her birthday party today. I don't know if I've got this in there because the sunlight's in the way. We made these necklaces, holy blessed little necklaces of peace, to give to everyone at a little gathering we're going to later, a birthday gathering here on the island. But that's the nature of love. The nature of love is to celebrate. The nature of love is to give of ourselves. The nature of love is to be where we are, present, with gratitude, because we are in the natural flow of love. There is no spot that can take away from that or block that. And if we experience a block, that's our gift right there, to stand still and let love melt away whatever ideas that we've held, little ideas that we think has brought us happiness externally from outside of ourselves. And those are the things that fall away. Okay, Brother James, there you go.
Amen. That's beautiful. Vicki, I just love how you said that every surrender is a welcome home party. And it really is. Every time we let go, every time we just allow ourselves to be taken by grace, we're being welcomed home, to the home we never left except in our imagination. And we can do that right now by surrendering all these things that we cling to and be desperate only for love, to long only for grace. So if Calico is there, I would love to turn to her and for her to share any thoughts that she has. Calico, are you there?
Jane. So good to see you again. And happy birthday, Lisa. Happy birthday to all of us, because today is the first day of our eternal. And, you said so many things. One of the things I guess I want to say quickly was when I realized what was really creating my death in me, the cancer to get me out of here. And it was definitely divine desperation. And really the belief I had was man's inhumanity to man. It was killing me. My whole life was spent fixing what I saw as wrong. So when and then 9/11 happened and something physically happened to me on 9/11. I'm not sure what, but I came crashing down. That's not the point, and it was the beginning of me turning around to see that I had this massive life purpose to fix humanity. And it was killing me. It was just killing me. And it was out of that I was able to see I was in such deep resignation, because that's not the point. The point was never to fix the world. The point is to allow us all to awaken in whatever way we're awakening. And a lot of them are really wild and appearing abusive and appearing wrong and something that we need to correct. And mine is just to stand and offer a hand of going, I love you. And it may appear hard right now, but the reality is turn it around. Like you guys said, turn it around. That's the power of the mind. And it's like, I have turned around a lot of wild things. And now I am in the abbey of my mind. I love my little place. I have one room here at Namaste. I love my little room because it's sacred to me. It's where I just can connect so easily with my beloved. And before I close, I need to share this for everyone, but Vicki, Teddy has been so with me lately. I've been writing the autobiography of an ego through my ego experiences. And Teddy's been with me. And what I'm really seeing is that I'm kind of like the female version of Teddy. I am Teddy's female counterpart. And he scared me for so long until I was able to and willing to embrace him. And was it easy? No, because it meant I had to really see how angry I was. And I was very angry because the world didn't appear to be fixing itself. It was on a downward spiral in my mind. And it was really through Teddy that I was able to turn that around and see there's nothing but my mind. There's no external to compare it to. It's just turn it around. If it's not working, turn it around, turn it around. So I thank you all. And this past, James, I guess you've been in retreat, but so have, I don't know, I'll speak for everyone. So have we all. And it's like this past week for me has taken me into such huge healing places that, you know, I'm looking at every nook and cranny and pulling out any unhealed thought in my mind, and they're there, and I'm just one at a time. And so I thank all of you for your inspiration to get on this call every morning, because that is the inspiration that keeps me turning it around. Everything, absolutely everything. So thank you. Happy birthday, everyone.
Thank you, Calico. Thank you, Vicki. How brilliant. I am so happy to be back. I'm gonna, as far as I know, be here tomorrow and Wednesday. I will be traveling to Rome and then back to the US on Thursday and Friday. But I'm so happy I'll be able to be here with you for a couple of more days before I get back to the US. And then, of course, I'll be around. I see Scott sitting in his seat. So, Scott, if you'd like to take us out with a song, especially if it's about divine desperation, that would be awesome.
I pray for the sensation of divine desperation, not just a temporary vacation, 'cause desperation takes me home to that place where I don't feel alone, only love, only God, only now. Help me stop trying to fix humanity. It's making me sick when I try to fix humanity. I join in the insanity. I'd rather stay awake and not make that mistake. Let the world be exactly as it is. There's nothing to forgive, only love is real, and only love ever was real.
Beautiful. Beautiful as always. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everyone. It's so good to see, so good to feel you all. And together we say, Amen, Amen, Amen y punto. Let's go out and surrender completely and be welcomed right back to the home we never left. Love you all. Namaste.